and welcome to Access Sportsnet Lakers, driven by your Southern California Honda dealers. I'm Chris McGee. Big game, James Worthy is here. Tough Juice, Caron Butler. We have Allie Clifton. We got Mike Trudell down the hall. We got Brez. They are working the post game. The Heat get back in the series. I'll say this. The Lakers did not play well, but we're not going to use that excuse. The Heat deserved to win this game. They had a valiant effort, minus two of their better players in Bam and Goran Dragic. And hats off to Jimmy Butler. One for the ages. Third 40-point triple-double in NBA Finals history. Jerry West in 1969, LeBron James in 2015, Jimmy Butler tonight.
And I heard Mark Jackson say on the telecast as I was watching the game that Butler had to have this type of game. There was no way he could not have that type of game, play that type of minutes. And, you know, he begged the coach to put him back in, don't take him out. I saw it at the end of the game, too. He said, we played 3 good quarters, but he didn't like the way we finished. That same momentum carried over into the beginning of the game. They were flat. That gave Miami a little bit of momentum, a little incentive. Even though the Lakers overcame the lead, you know, this was the game they had to have, and they were a little bit more desperate tonight.
Says a lot about the leadership of the Miami Heat. You know, starting with Coach Spo, his soundbite after game 1 and 2 saying that, look, I don't care what no one says. We're still in this series. And then to follow up with the performance, Jimmy Butler echoing the same words that Spo had put out there. But then he followed it up with a call to action to go out there and play at a high level. 40-plus points. I mean, we haven't seen anything like that from a Miami Heat player. Clearly, you know, just single-handedly since Dwayne Wade in 06, how he just dismantled the Dallas Mavericks when he was averaging 34, 7, 3, and 2. And I think Jimmy Butler just took it upon himself to impose his will on this series and assert this astronomical performance. And I think the guys really followed and just supported him.
I feel like you also have to call out the Lakers in regards to, yes, being up 2-0. And LeBron said this in game 1 in the first quarter when they fell down 13. Remember, they went on that 19-3 run and kind of turned it around. And then from there, they went on a 70-35 run. But LeBron said, until we matched their effort and their intensity in the first quarter, we were in big trouble. Same thing happened tonight. The Heat were desperate, as we talked about, and the Lakers did not match it. And they were playing catch-up the entire night. And you got to give the Heat credit. Every time the Lakers caught them, James, they would hit the big shots to go back up 10. The Lakers never looked like they were in rhythm. They struggled to get offense from some of their starters, some of the guys on the bench. Markieff was great. Kuz lit it up. But AD only 15 points. LeBron 23. You know, we know the stats. We give them every night. When those guys combine for 60, the Lakers don't lose. Tonight, they combine for 38.
Yeah, you know, AD getting in foul trouble didn't help. You know, he never got off to a start. Even when he came back in, he hit a few shots, but we didn't see the AD that we had in game 2. As you look at the turnovers, Geeter, turnover after turnover, 20 turnovers. Miami was able to get 21 opportunity points off of those turnovers. So, you know, foul trouble, not attacking, you know, thinking that you're up 2-0. Just because you're better and you know you're supposed to win doesn't mean anything if you don't go out and do it. So I'm sure they're going to look at this and not going to be happy with it because, you know, even though Butler had a great game, you know, they still, you know, found ways to let Miami stay in the game and beat them.
Yeah, I mean, credit Kelly Olynyk with 17 off the bench. Tyler Hero is a rookie. 17 points, who started 1 for 8 in this game. Hit some big shots down the stretch. Duncan Robinson, who was not drafted, scoring 13. So they had some big-time performances. And listen, the Lakers fell down a game to Portland, fell down a game to Houston, lost this same game to Denver, and every single time they've had to make an adjustment. And they've done that. Defensively, maybe the Lakers are going to show something different because right now, Jimmy Butler's a problem.
Yeah.
In the one-on-one situation.
Yeah, he's a huge problem, and I think that the Lakers are going to identify that. You're going to send more bodies at him. You're going to build a wall, make it a little difficult for him. But I think that one of the big problems that we have not talked about enough is, you know, a young player like Tyler Hero being in the playoffs for the first time, scoring double figures in every outing, and I think that he's starting to get his confidence. So you do not want a young player to get that type of confidence on this stage where he can go out there and just have these large impacts on the game. So I think the adjustment will be made on his part too.
Yeah, and you just gave them a little bit more confidence. You know, even though they think that, you know, they're without 2 of their main players, they still find out, they can win a game if they can just keep pushing it and play hard. The Lakers are going to have to outplay them. The Miami Heat are going to play hard, and you're going to have to match that effort. You're not going to win with your talent. So that's what they're up against right now.
Hey, I'll be honest with you guys. This game woke everybody up. I mean, let's be honest. The Lakers were kind of cruising through this series. There's no Bam. There's no Goran. The Heat haven't shown any signs of being able to compete with this team. Everyone on the national level, fans, everyone's saying it's a wrap. Everyone woke up tonight, James.
Absolutely.
And that's part of the fun, too.
Everybody woke up except for the Lakers. They didn't wake up. They were kind of groggy the whole game. And, they are going to have to make some adjustments on Butler, as they did against, Harden, Houston. Similar type situation. They're going to have to find a way to take the ball out of his hands. He can't be the decision maker with the shot clock running down, because he's going to make the right decision or he's going to score. So other guys played well, as you mentioned. Now they have confidence. They think they can get another one tied up in the bubble.
Never know.
Things can happen.
All right, it's 115 to 104. Something to think about for everyone. Heat not dead yet. They find a way to get the win. Lakers struggle with 20 turnovers. They shoot 43% from the field. The Heat, they get a 40-point triple-double from Jimmy Buckets. They get 17 from Olynyk, 17 from Tyler Hero. Kyle Kuzma scored 19 points off the bench. He's speaking with Brez in the media.
Hey, Kyle, you guys had 20 turnovers tonight. How much did that impact the final score of the game?
A lot, especially anytime you have, really over 12, 13, 14 turnovers, that's a lot. So, anytime you have 20 turnovers in a, let alone the finals with a playoff game, it doesn't bode well for you. They just get so many more opportunities to score. We're not even getting shots up. So, it hurts. It hurts for sure. It hurts.
Well, this team was without two of its top three players. How disappointed are you that you guys couldn't get that 3-0 lead? And are you surprised as well?
Yeah, disappointed for sure. That was our game, and we were just, we let our foot off the gas. We had a lot of mistakes offensively with the turnovers and defensively as well. So, we're disappointed.
How do you get back to what you did the first two games a couple days from now in Game 4?
We just got to not turn the ball over. I think we had in both of those games combined probably 20 turnovers. So if we can, get shots up on the rim, not, handicap ourselves, then also just clean up, their slip attack. One thing that's really hurting us right now is Olynyk, and we got to figure it out, because the slip drags is hurting us. It's hurting us right now.
Let's go to Brad Turner.
Kyle, talk about the way Markieff Morris played for you guys. Seemed like he shot the ball very well and was doing his best to keep you guys in the game.
Yeah, Keith made big shots. Just if guys are going to leave us open, our job is the bench unit to hit shots, and he came in and he did that at a high rate today.
Okay, let's go over to Jim on site. I believe we have a few questions there.
I'll do it. Go ahead, please. Kyle, you guys have talked about not being complacent and sort of trying to keep the foot on the gas. Have you seen signs of that, or do you feel like this game result reflects maybe some complacency on his part?
I'm not going to say complacency, because that's not the type of group we have, and that's not really in our DNA. But we just had a few mental slips for sure. Knowing that happens, you can't be perfect. You can't be the perfect. Can't be the perfect human. Can't be the perfect basketball player. You're going to make mistakes, but it's our job to limit those mistakes. If you do that, then have a better mood after games.
Kyle Kuzma with a nice line tonight, 4 for 8 from 3, 19 points. We bring in Allie Clifton just to get her thoughts. Let's go a little Heat side of things. Coach Spo, been in this position before. What did you see from him and that staff tonight, maybe some of the changes they made?
Well, I think as we know, when it comes to the playoffs, it's all about adjustments. And before this series even began, one of the narratives going around about Eric Spoelstra was that he needs to be in the Hall of Fame because of how good he is, especially when it comes to moments like this. And I think he's put himself and his team in a position to now have a fighting chance. You know, and games 1 and 2, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, we talked about it. We had the best time talking about it. They dominated. And it was almost as if Erik Spoelstra and the Heat said, let the supporting cast then, of course, or I'm sorry, you take care of them, and then we'll be fine. You then move to game 3. I think that adjustment came, where it's let's take out either AD or LeBron, and then let the supporting cast beat you. And the Lakers supporting cast, they were there. But I think it's just epitome and the reflection of how dominant LeBron James and Anthony Davis, when they're rolling and when they're impacting the game the way in which they have throughout the regular season and the postseason together, that's when the Lakers become really tough. It's just like when you look back at that Denver series. When Denver wasn't playing well, what was going wrong? You had either the Joker or Jamal Murray on the bench in foul trouble. It's the same thing. The Miami Heat made an adjustment. They decided to take out one of the superstars for the Lakers. It just so happened to be Anthony Davis, put him in that tough spot. And then they played what Jimmy has said since Bam and Goran went out. We have to play a damn near perfect game for 48 minutes. And then he did that, and their team followed suit.
And we're just not used to seeing LeBron and AD with lines like this, because every single night they're giving you 29 to 35 points. And when you see AD with only 15, 0 in the fourth quarter, you see LeBron with only 7 in the second half, you know, you're just not used to seeing that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff get distorted. You know, flow and, you know, the rhythm of the game for the Lakers is solely on the 2 best players on that roster, and that's, you know, LeBron James and AD. Now, granted, Rondo can cover up and patch up a lot of things in the midst of that confusion, whether one of those guys are deleted out the equation for a limited period of time. But Anthony Davis, he got in foul trouble, and he wasn't able to really insert himself into this game, so it was different.
Don't let that fly under the radar. That is a huge part of this basketball game. Anthony Davis, we've watched him the entire year. Huge first quarters all the time, especially through these playoffs. 0 attempts in that first. 0 attempts, James. That's a big thing for this team. Because the bench, when you look, you see the bench shooting, outscoring the Heat 53 to 26. The Lakers shooting 33% from 3. It's the first time they've lost, shooting over 30% in the playoffs. You think they win this game.
Yeah.
But then you look at those other things.
Allen hit it right on the head. I mean, when your bench scoring, I think, plus 40, and you still can't overcome, you know, a team that's, you know, lacking 2 players, it only means that, you know, just because your bench is dominant, you still need those 2 guys. You still got to have a nice engine, a good carburetor, you know what I mean? You got to have those things. I don't care if your tires are, you know, nice or you got a nice paint job, you still need, you know, those 2 guys to do their thing, and it didn't happen tonight. Even when AD came back in the game, which you think that maybe he is in foul trouble, that maybe now he would start to dominate. But when you don't have that mojo going, it's hard to just, you know, flip the switch on and get it done. And Miami was prepared for it.
KCP, Danny Green, just 1 for 11 between them as well. Let's hear from Frank Vogel. He's speaking with Mike Trudell in the media.
Hey, Frank, I know you talked about this in the first quarter interview, the 10 turnovers in that first quarter. How did you think that was emblematic of just the general effort tonight, if at all?
It wasn't about effort. It was just about execution. But again, credit their defense. They played a terrific game, forced a lot of those turnovers. We'll look at the tape and see how we can be better.
Allison, go ahead.
Okay, we'll start with David Benjamin.
Frank, you mentioned turnovers. Does it feel like a different series now? Obviously, you know, they get their first win on the board, but with the looming potential return of Bam Adebayo, and you know, was it feel like prepping for Game 4 as you turn the page?
Well, we've had great respect for this team from the start. It didn't change after Game 1. It didn't change after Game 2. Even with guys out, we still have great respect. We saw that in Game 2, what they're capable of from an offensive firepower standpoint, defensive competitiveness standpoint. So, you know, they're going to be a great opponent with those guys or without them.
How good?
It's another tough night for Danny and KCP, and obviously, you know, in that starting lineup, they help space, and it's a dangerous weapon against the zone. What do you see out of their performances the last 2 games, and is there, I mean, obviously they've been through some slumps before, but is there a way you kind of get them through that?
Yeah, just stay the course. Those guys will be fine. They've been great for us all year. And we have to execute as a group better. If we execute as a group better, have more intent to get a higher shot quality, then those guys will be fine.
We'll go back to Will.
All right, thank you. Bill Plaschke?
Yeah, Frank, did it bother you at all that a couple of your players walked off the court before the game was over with?
I think they thought the game was over. I don't think they realized there was point whatever still on the clock.
All right, I'm going to take two more on my side. Brian Mahoney.
Frank, did you guys think you got thrown out of rhythm right away by Davis's early foul trouble? I know LeBron came back in the game pretty quickly, but it seemed like you're just getting rhythm at the first quarter there.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Did you guys think you never got a rhythm with the Davis early foul trouble in that first quarter?
Yeah, I think that impacted us some, but we've been in foul trouble before, and you have to play through it. That's part of the game. We see that all throughout the course of the season and in the playoffs, and you have to be able to adapt and adjust. It probably had a small factor on our offensive rhythm, but we just got to be better overall on both ends.
All right, last one on my side, Melissa.
Hey, Frank. Jimmy Butler in his walk-off interview mentioned that the key to this series is keeping you guys off of the boards. How can you guys keep playing the way you guys want to play while also limiting Jimmy Butler?
We definitely have to do a better job on Jimmy. He had 40 and 13. Identifying the right situations to help, the right situations not to help. We didn't do a good job in those situations.
They got great disconnection with one another. Need more of that.
So smooth. LeBron led the Lakers with 25 points. His 8 assists were matched by 8 turnovers. He's now speaking with Mike in the media.
Hey, LeBron, was there anything that you noticed in that first quarter about just the general way the team was playing and the turnovers that surprised you? And how did that play out for the rest of the game?
No, we know that we can't turn the ball over versus this team. They're very active defensively. And it starts with myself being the starting point guard of the team, having 5 first half turnovers, 8 total for the game is can't do that, obviously, because it gives them more possessions. It doesn't allow us to set our defense. And they're really, really good offensively. So you just can't turn the ball over versus that team, and I'll take full responsibility for that.
You've had a 40-point triple-double in the finals before. Just wondered what you thought of Jimmy's effort tonight and how you guys need to defend him better or differently in game 4.
I thought Jimmy was phenomenal. He did everything that they needed for him to do tonight, and he came through big time in a big-time game. And we'll watch the film and see ways we can be better going into game 4. But I thought he was great.
LeBron, Anthony got into some foul trouble early and had a little trouble getting going. What did you see happening with him? And just that. What did you see happening with him?
You just said it. He got into some foul trouble. And, they even, one of the shots that he made when he had 4 fouls, they still try to slide up underneath him and get him a 5th and a 3rd. So, I think the foul trouble made him a little passive, because he wanted to be out on the floor, but he couldn't be his aggressive self. Offensively and defensively. I think the foul slowed him down a lot tonight.
Allison?
LeBron, despite it seemingly Miami controlling the action, holding the lead for most of the start of the game, you guys would take a lead around 9 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. From there on, what do you think allowed them to separate from you guys?
They continued to make shots, and we had some turnovers. We didn't make shots. They came down and executed after we took the lead. And Jimmy had, like I said, he had his hand on all those plays pretty much. Obviously, we got to do a better job of that coming down in the stretch. But I like our fight tonight, even as poorly as I believe we played.
You guys obviously had a chance to take a 3-0 lead. Are you concerned about kind of giving Miami sort of a breath of fresh air, and with the possibility that Bam returns in the next game? Do you feel like opportunity missed in that way?
I mean, you have an opportunity, and if you don't make the most of it, then you come back the next time. I mean, it's not like the series wasn't over if we won tonight, and we know for sure that Miami is never going to quit, no matter if we won tonight and they're going to a game 4 of 3-1. I know how resilient that bunch is and how resilient their coaching staff is and their franchise. So I don't ever feel like we went into it and haven't let our guard down or. And also, I don't feel like we're concerned. We're not concerned. We know we can play a lot better. And we have another opportunity to take a commanding lead on Tuesday. So you relish that opportunity.
Yeah.
LeBron, when you guys have lost games this postseason, you've responded very well. What is it about this group that's handled quick adjustments that has bounced back from losses so well in this playoffs?
Well, we learn from our mistakes pretty quick. And obviously right now with the games being every other day, pretty much it's the film room. It's the film room, and it's how well we can make adjustments from the film and take it to the floor. And we've done a great job throughout this postseason. So we're going to definitely have to do that because we're playing versus a very, 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 very good team. And we have to learn from our mistakes and be better on Tuesday.
Rachel.
Ron, it's usually pretty fun when you and Jimmy play against each other over the years. Would you say that you enjoy playing against him? You respect playing against him? Where is your level and sort of emotions toward him as you go against him over and over in different teams, different cities?
Yeah, love it. Love it. One of the best competitors that we have in our game. And, we love that opportunity. Like I said, for me personally, I don't know how many more opportunities I'm going to have. So, to be able to go against a fierce competitor like that is something I'll look back on when I'm done playing, but I miss those moments.
All right, we'll take the last two with Will on Zoom.
All right, thank you. Bill Plaschke.
Yeah, LeBron, when you walked off the court with about 10 seconds left, was that frustration or do you think the game was over?
Both.
All right, last one, Melissa Rowland.
Hey, LeBron, would you say tonight's loss was more about effort or execution or a combination of the two?
I just think we could be better, obviously. I don't think we started the game defensively in tune and then offensively taking care of the ball. Like I said, we had some careless turnovers. And it starts with me, like I said, and I take full responsibility of that. I'll be a lot better on Tuesday with that, understanding that they're very good with their hands. They're very good with the stripping, and you can't allow this team to have extra possession. You can't turn the ball over at that high rate versus a team, especially at this point in the season as well. So, I'll be a lot better, with the security of the ball and the turnovers and things of that nature, and we as a team would be a lot better defensively with our game plan. Appreciate it.
Here's LeBron James. I'm going to throw a little guarantee out to you, Allie, Ron and James. He's going to play really well.
He said he'll be a lot better.
He said he's going to be a lot better. So guess what? He will be. Career playoff assists. He moved ahead of John Stockton, one of James's adversaries back in the day. I know you got a lot of respect for the Utah Jazz teams back in the day.
John Stockton said a mean, dirty pick.
He dirty pick, too.
Mean, dirty pick. Don't let that smooth face fool you.
Magic Johnson, number 1, of course. And LeBron James, now number 2, president. More to come on Access. Anthony Davis gotten fouled as the Heat get game 3. LA leads 2-1. AD battled foul trouble, finished with 15 points. He's speaking with Mike in the media.
Hey, Anthony, LeBron said he felt like the early foul trouble impacted the way that you were able to play and potentially how aggressive you could be. What did you think that impact had for you, and how did you analyze the way the game went overall for you?
It had an impact. Picked up 2 early. They come in and get the 3rd. So it takes away the aggressiveness on both ends of the floor that I'm used to playing with. And, those guys like to take charges or whatever and, try to draw offensive fouls. So it took away the aggressiveness a little bit. Still have to be better, still have to find ways to affect the game, on both ends of the floor. But it definitely took me out, and put a little bit too much pressure on the other guys.
That first quarter, you had 10 turnovers that LeBron noted to. Many of them were between him and you. You guys are the leaders of the team. What did you see from an execution standpoint on offense and how that might have impacted things?
Just silly turnovers. I mean, I had 4. Offensive fouls, miscommunication on some passes, but we just have to be better overall. I mean, we'll be fine. We make shots. We didn't defend at all tonight. They made big shots, made some good plays. Trust me, we'll be fine.
Well, what do you attribute some of that to? When you say we didn't defend at all tonight, why do you think that was?
It just wasn't talking on the defensive end. Our schemes were set up for certain situations, and we didn't execute them. We were getting confused on a lot of things. They had wide open looks that they missed early and made late. And 3 we were letting Jimmy get into a strong hand too many times, get into the basket, getting and ones, or get into the free throw line. We were letting guys get to the rim easily with no contact. Our low man help wasn't there tonight. We just had so many communication plays. And I think it's just a carryover from the first 2 games. First 2 games late in the game, we had a good lead. It didn't hurt us. We didn't play well defensively late games, so we didn't do that all. We didn't do well all tonight on defensive end, and it made us play.
Allison?
AD, so much of this run for your team has been coinciding with your personal journey. Your first conference finals, first buzzer beater, first finals wins, now it's the first finals loss. How are you internalizing it, and how do you expect the next 48 hours to go for you leading up to Game 4?
I'll be fine. I mean, I just have to be better. Both ends on the floor, like I said. Foul trouble. Bringing the energy. The team relies on me bringing that energy to start the game, and when you pick up 2 fouls, guys come in earlier, things like that. So I just have to be better. But that was one loss. We're still up in this series. Like I said, we never want to get too high. We don't want to get too low. But we'll look at the film, see where I can be better on both ends, see where we can be better as a team. Come out Game 4, much better than we played tonight.
AD, Kyle mentioned the slip screens and thing. Obviously, Kelly Olynyk had a huge game. What's sort of your responsibility in that, and what can be done to kind of make that less effective against you guys with the way that they've used Kelly tonight?
Communication, just talking. We know that he rarely sets screens, so we just have to talk to the guy on the ball, just let him know what's going on, so there's no miscommunication, and let either the guy who's handling or the guy who's setting the screen, which is Kelly, get open shots. So we just got to talk, and communication solves every problem. And so and then having our help, being ready to rotate if it is miscommunication on the ball. So like I said, we're bad in all aspects on the defensive end tonight, but we'll be better Game 4.
More to come on Access. The upcoming schedule for the finals. Game 4 is Tuesday. By the way, the Dodgers opener against the Padres that night as well. It's going to be a big day here in L.A. And Game 5, it's now necessary. Allie, your mom's coming into town. She's going to have some fun Friday. There is going to be a game. It's going to be a Game 5. Will it be a closeout game? We do not know. Game 6, Game 7, possibly October 11th and the 13th. Let's hear from Miami head coach Erik Spoelstra on the Heat's win.
How else do you say it other than, Jimmy F. and Butler? But this is what he wanted. This is what we wanted. It's really hard to analyze or describe Jimmy until you actually feel him between the 4 lines. He is a supreme elite competitor, and we needed it. Obviously this was This was a very desperate, urgent game, and he was doing it on both ends of the court. Just put his imprint at every important part of the game. And, he's in the top percentile of this entire association in terms of conditioning. And you saw he just got stronger as the game went on. But in terms of, you saying a Marquette guy, Dwayne swore to us. He looked us, Pat and I, dead in the eye and said, "This is your guy. This is the next guy." But it's also just one. So we also have perspective that we're not going to get carried away with this.
All right, time now for a little Access 360. Hear what Erik Spoelstra is saying about Jimmy Butler and what he means to this team. So let's do a little breakdown. What do you have for us, Crom?
Look, pretty much what, Coach Spo had said, and, Dwayne Wade, best player to ever put on a uniform for the Miami Heat, saying that Jimmy Butler have a physical presence, getting to the paint and kissing it off the glass. But I love the fact that he was chirping a little bit afterwards, too, just letting everybody know, feeling his presence.
I mean, he's a complete player. I mean, we talked about it earlier. We have LeBron. Butler is to Miami what LeBron is to the Lakers. He can take over a game. And I think he's found a home in Miami. He's a supreme player, can do everything on both ends of the court. I was really impressed, not only with his scoring, but when they needed to score and everyone was looking to him to score, he would drop dimes to other players, breaking through the bucket. He trusts his teammates. Miami might be, along with the Lakers, the team that plays well together the most, and that's why they're in the finals.
All right, guys, still to come on Access. The Heat